difference. The next one. This is an important. When things are going well, prayer makes a difference. When things are going, you ever been there? Woo, you're living for the Lord. You're on the mountaintop. Man, woo, this serving the Lord, this is good, and it is easy. Woo, I don't understand why other people have troubles. I'm on top of the world living for the Lord. Man, God has blessed me. He's taken care of me. Boy, I'm never going to have a problem again. Now, we ought not act like that. But we see that in the Bible. I was reading in the Bible, and you've read it too, in John chapter 13. There's Peter. Peter's with Jesus, the Last Supper. He's having his feet washed by the Lord Jesus Christ. And at first he says, don't do it, but afterwards Jesus washes his feet. Then Jesus says to the disciples, including Peter, he said, hey, I'm your master and Lord, but I'm your servant. He said, don't seek to be a master, seek to be a servant. A little bit later, toward the end of that chapter, Jesus looks at the disciples and said, I'm leaving you, and where I go, you cannot come. And Peter got up and he said to him, he said, Lord, why cannot I follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thy sake. Jesus answered him, wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice. In other words, he's saying, Peter, right around the corner is some troubles, some difficulties that you don't even know about. And listen, Peter, you're in trouble. Peter, you need to come off, not necessarily come off the mountaintop, but you need to quit trusting in your greatness and trust in me. You turn the page over there, Matthew describes it in Matthew chapter 26. They went out to the Garden of Gethsemane. Do you remember that? The Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus looks at three of his disciples, James and John and Peter. And he says, follow me a little bit further and pray. And he looked at those three and he said, pray. Jesus went a little further and he fell asleep. Do you remember that? Jesus came back to where Peter, James, and John were, and he looked at them and they fell asleep. And he said, this is what Jesus said, watch and pray. Watch and what? Pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He's on a mountaintop at that period of time. Amen. Everything's all right at that period of time. Everything's okay. Jesus is still with them at that time. But right around the corner, there was Judas and the band of men coming around. And remember Malchus, the high priest's servant right there. And they all of a sudden, they betrayed Jesus with a kiss. And Peter, all of a sudden, his world was turned upside down. He took out that sword and cut off the ear of Malchus. And right there, things were going to be in trouble. He needed to pray. He needed to pray. Pray when you're on a mountaintop. In other words, when you're on a mountaintop and things are going well, prayer makes a difference. When you're on a mountaintop, don't forget to pray. Prayer makes a difference.